Good morning and welcome back. Today, we'll be demonstrating how to identify vintage clothing so you can resell these items and earn some extra cash on the side. Where to find these items are going by to your local thrift stores such as Goodwill and Salvation Army. And where to sell these items are putting them online like Depop, eBay, Poshmark, or starting a garage sale. Today, we'll be focusing on vintage t-shirts from the late 80s to the early 90s. Let's get started. There are three important facts you want to keep in mind when identifying vintage t-shirts. That is stitching, tags, and looking for the date. So, if you look on this Pink Floyd t-shirt on the bottom, this is what's considered to be single stitch. Notice how there's only one stitching. You can also look in the sleeves as well to see if it's single stitch or not. Now, keep in mind, if it's not single stitch or if it's double stitch, that does not always mean it's not vintage. There are older t-shirts out there that may be single stitch or double stitch depending on the print. So just be mindful of that and just be mindful of the print because you never know what print you could run into. Next, we'll be talking about tags. If you look over here, the easiest way to identify a vintage tag is by going down and see if it says Made in USA. A lot of t-shirts from the late 80s to the 90s were always produced in the US, not in China or Taiwan. And also, you want to keep in mind of what types of brands of tags you want to keep an eye out for, because the better brands of tags, the better pieces you'll look out to, and they hold more value to that actual t-shirt. So some examples of those types of brands you want to keep an eye out for are Anvil, Fruit in the Loom, Tuck's Tale, Gildan, Screen Stars, and Firepower. So like I said, be mindful of those tags because you never know what print you might run into next. And finally, the easiest way to identify a vintage t-shirt is by looking at the date. A lot of prints will be right in the center, and sometimes the date of the print will sometimes be in the corner, and it'll be at, for example, like 1992 or 1993 or so on. It just depends what type of t-shirt it is. But in this one, these are called the tour band t-shirts, which are very popular in the vintage culture. So if you look in the bottom, this is the Division Bell Tour t-shirt from '94, and this is the John Kane and Steppenwolf one from '95. Now, like I said, there are a lot of different t-shirts out there, so you just gotta be mindful of these three facts. But the date is probably the easiest one to keep in mind because it will tell you what year it's from. And let's not forget that these are very old t-shirts from the late 80s to the early 90s. So just be mindful of that. So there you have it. You have the basic idea of identifying vintage t-shirt. I encourage you to go out to your local thrift stores and see what gems you can find. Join me next time, and I'll try to identify vintage t-shirts. Goodbye, and enjoy thrift.